SHAC committee meeting. This will be our second meeting of the year. It's 12:01 and we will begin our meeting. I will start by taking attendance. Patricia Cardwell, Oscar Gonzalez, Stephanie Leverett, Karina Mireles, Elizabeth Molina, Roxanne Venegas, Valerie Rodriguez, Janet Puente, Gabriela Huerta, Josue Venegas, Elizabeth Moynihan, Melissa Limon,
Present.
Claudia Juarez,
Here.
Brenda Iglesias,
Here.
Mónica Ruiz, Carolina Cárdenas.
Here.
Did I miss anybody? I already got you, Roxanne. We will begin our meeting today with an overview of the San Felipe Del Rio Consolidated Independent School District Wellness Plan, and the presentation will be by Ms. Rufina Adams, Director of Federal and State Programs.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for being here and giving time from your busy schedule to be here. We truly appreciate it. And again, congratulations, and thank you for your commitment to serving our students and our families by serving on this SHAC committee. So I'm going to give you just an overview. It is included in your packet that you received of our San Felipe Del Rio Wellness Plan. Now, this plan is a plan that must be updated annually. So I gave it to you so that we have the remainder of this school year to look at it. We're going to edit, we're going to make changes, we're going to add, delete things that this committee feels need to be included in our wellness plan. So this wellness plan, right now as it sits, has goals for nutrition, education, nutrition guidelines, and thank you for our food service department for supplying this delicious meal. That these are the meals that our children at our schools are also partaking on a daily basis. We also have goals for physical education for elementary, middle school, high school, and also goals for district employees. So this is also a component of our wellness plan. And then we have another goal, which is goals for other school-based activities. And these activities include mental health, cybersecurity, social media, bullying reporting, suicide awareness, and others. And so this is what this committee is going to be focused on. This council is going to be looking at all of these programs that are related to school health for our students, our employees, and our families. So today's presentations, you're going to hear a little bit about each one of the different components. As the SHAC committee, we ask for your input. Give us information that you think that we are needing to add, and we will turn back to this again at our next meeting. So hopefully between now and our next meeting in February, you'll read it and be able to give us some input. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have Brenda Iglesias. She is the Director of Child Nutrition Services.
I have a presentation. I'm the food service director for the school district, but I'm a part of SFE, which is a third company that the school district uses to provide meals for the students. This is my team. Laura Gonzalez, she's our nutritionist. Houston Lindsay, he's our district chef. And then so we provide breakfast, second lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So now we're providing more meals that we used to before. This is our second year that we are CEP. CEP means that these meals are free for all the kids. Doesn't matter what income, what category they fall in, doesn't matter. Every kid has a chance to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And this was our dinner program. And then
Okay, so we follow My Plate, the guidelines that USDA provides us. Our menus are based on the state and federal guidelines to calculate all the nutritional requirements that we need for our menus to be compliant with the guidelines provided by the state and by USDA as well.
During the year, I try to book as many events throughout the district as I can. Roving Chef is one of those events. It's a hands-on cooking class for the kids. This year so far, I've done one at Calderon, Lonnie Green. There's a Roving Chef I have scheduled for tomorrow here at Garfield. It gives the students a chance to tour the kitchen and have some fun with some hands-on cooking. They get to, at Lonnie Green for the SEC September, we did build your own chicken quesadillas, and the kids love touring the kitchen, and as they get the chance for a hands-on cooking class, we also try and teach them a little bit about the nutritional content of the stuff that they're making. We provide them with a participation certificate and a recipe to take home with their family. We also do farmers markets. Farmers markets, the purpose of the farmers markets is to try and get the kids to try something that maybe they haven't before. Last year, we partnered with the ACE program, or it was STEM, I believe it was STEM. We partnered with STEM, and we had some farmers markets at Ceniza Hills, Bobby Barrera. They got to try like sea beans, which was the first time I got to try sea beans. So I think it's a really great program for the kids to, you know, I think during that time in the STEM, they were learning about growing vegetables and how vegetables and fruits grow and things like that. And the farmer's market is really just a great chance for the kids to maybe try something that maybe they haven't before. So in the secondaries, we usually do taste tests. And I believe for the elementaries in the ACE program this year, we're going to partner with the ACE program to set up some taste tests in the elementary level. And the taste test provides the kids a chance to try some different food, vote on what they like and what they don't like, and based on the feedback that we get from the students, if it's an overwhelming, like they like it, then we will incorporate it into the menu.
So our department consists of almost 100 ladies. We have spread out throughout the whole district. So I wanted to introduce you to the group. Questions?
I have a question. So just for the parents that are here, to help them explain, to help them understand why it's so important for us to have the nutritionist on board, and why can't we just create any meals? Like, I know that we may have a parent that said, why can't we just do guisado rice and beans, for example? So just for the sake of helping our parents understand, why is it that we have a menu, and why is it that we have to create a specific menu?
So USDA guidelines change over we were getting a new guideline for 25-26 school year. And those basically are reduced sodium. We have to do reduced sodium. We need to partner. We partner with our, right now we're using, Cisco, right? So we're, and our distributor provides us the food that is regulated by the USDA, by USDA regulations and, that. Also, we need to limit the sugars. I also check and provide the special diets for students, so gluten-free, allergies, lactose, dairy, all of that, and I work and I partner with the nurses to get those meals for the students. And the whole grain requirements as well. We can't use, we need to use whole grain.
It's regulation passed down from the USDA
Yes.
to ensure that we are feeding the kids enriched whole foods, not anything overly processed, nothing full of sugars, low sodium content, so that they are receiving healthier meals to fuel their minds better.
And every program is different, so breakfast, we need to comply with certain regulations. Lunch, the NSLP, another set of regulations. Dinner, another set of, so we need to base our menus on the regulations that the state and the federal government gives us. Okay, so, and I also need to provide, for example, for NSLP, I have to do a menu weekly with 5 groups of vegetables, and I need to offer those 5 groups of vegetables every single week. Okay?
I have another question.
Yes.
Can you just explain a little bit further on the dinner, because I know that that's something that's new for dinner, that I don't know if our parents or our public is aware that dinner is free to students, so can you just explain that a little bit more?
So dinner, we were able to offer it because if there is an enrichment program going on at the schools, we were able to provide dinner for all those kids. Some of these enrichments, I think they go all the way to 6 o'clock, and that's too long of a period for the kids not to eat. So it is open at the campuses where there is an enriched program going on, enriched educational program. So if there is tutorials or, teachers stay after school help with homework and stuff, we're able to provide a meal.
Do we have a list of those campuses that offer the free dinner?
I don't, but I can email it to the SHAC and then we can share it to everybody.
I
Or
know
we can post it on the website.
Calderon's one of them.
Yeah, we have Calderon, Lonnie Green, Durham Middle, San Felipe, Garfield, and high school,
I think Lamar.
and Lamar.
And this is for all the kids, including like athletes who are there past our.
Yes.
And then the Valverde Training Center provides the dinner for
For Cenisas and Buenavista.
Ceniza Hills and Buenavista.
And anybody is open, the only thing that we cannot do is say, my child is at San Felipe and they want to eat at Calderon. You can't do that, it has to be enrolled at that campus, because the ID is registered to a certain campus, that's the only reason.
So is it for every student or just those that attend that enrichment program?
No, everybody.
Every student.
Everybody, yes. We do have to go by the guidelines that there is 2 hours in between, so between breakfast and lunch, there needs to be 2 hours, and lunch and dinner, there needs to be 2 hours in between. The one that's a little bit harder is high school, the secondaries, because their lunches end at 1:40 or something like that. So we have to start dinner till 4 o'clock, and the last bell is at 3:30. So the kids have to wait around about 30 minutes so we can be able to serve them later. But it is for everybody as long as they're in that campus.
And do you get a good amount of kids that do participate, that do eat?
Yes, we do. Like it's open, I know sometimes the buses are running late, those are the kids that, they're the first ones and they're like, Miss, I wanna eat before my bus gets here. It's open to everybody, band, football, soccer, tennis, anybody.
I wonder if there was a way to tweak that time for the high school, because
We would
there's
have
so
to
many
move.
kids that stay for high school that would, because I see it at middle school, they're waiting for the meal, and they go and it's a real benefit to the students.
Yes.
But like at the high school, like I know my son stays for athletics, and there's so many kids that are always there, like all hours of the day. But if they have to wait till 4, they're already in their practice. So I don't know if there's a way to do that where they can.
We would have to change their lunchtime a little, I think it was only by 20 minutes
Yeah.
early, so serve 20 minutes early for next year, and we're able to start exactly at 3:30 when they come out. So, and again, each principal runs their program differently. Not everybody is, because it starts affecting like the elementaries, that when we start opening the door at 3:10, we get the backup of the traffic or they can't find the child because they're eating and stuff like that. So honestly, it all depends also on the principals, the way they want to run the program.
It's a huge benefit. I see it at the most for the kids going and getting their lunch tray, like waiting in line. Those that are waiting for the bus, they'll try to eat super fast before they get on the bus so that they have that additional meal.
And sometimes it's really hard, but we get a lot of parents saying, I can't afford, more food at home.
Yes.
What can I do? And I'm like,
Yes.
well, you can come pick them up later and, we can offer you the dinner program.
It's good to hear that they're taking advantage of
Yeah.
kids actually go, because, some kids kind of shy away from doing something like that, so it's good to
Yes, ma'am.
hear.
I was gonna say, might y'all consider maybe like a grab and go bag, because like for somebody that's in athletics, they might not be able to scarf it down, but if they have like a grab and go, maybe by the time they get home, even if it's just a small thing, like what they do in hotels.
The only thing is that the only rule that they tell us is it has to be consumed on campus. They can't just grab it and take it home.
There's a requirement.
Yeah, there's a requirement. Because if not, we would totally do all,
I can see that being
meals
taken.
for everybody, but it's to consume at the school. So if they're athletics, I've been there where I go get them where they're practicing, and my guys, don't sit out here in the sun, go grab a meal, eat, and then come outside.
Yeah.
They're able to do that as long as it's within the premises, but we can't like pack it to go.
Because I think that's a great idea, because even the students at CTE, they would, like I had students there was a bus that would go after school, because they have Skills USA at the CTE Center, and they would like dodge the bus, stay at the high school, wait till 4 to eat, and then walk to the CTE Center, because they were hungry, and they were gonna be there till 7 at night, welding or whatever.
So for that one, if they're gonna be at that center at the CTE, you're able to transport. We just need to know.
Okay,
We're able to
because I think
transport.
we
Just
did
let me know.
request that, but I'll let you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
That may be a consideration, a recommendation from SHAC to open up a site at
At
the
CTE.
CTE Center.
For
I have
more
one
bodies.
last question, because I know that we're limited in
Sorry.
time. Because we're recording the session for those parents who may be watching afterwards. If I have a child that needs special foods, let's say that they have a food allergy, or their doctor recommends a special diet, what is the process? Or how would a parent wanna come about and share that? And how would they start that out?
Yeah, so I coordinate with the nurse, in depending what the doctor's note says. I go, for example, if it's a gluten-free allergy, I go and purchase the food, double check that the food does not contain any gluten, and that's what I give to the student every single day.
And just to clarify, the forms that need to be filled out by the doctors are found on our district website, on our health services page. There is a link of the forms that they can download and need to be filled out by the physician, because they do need that.
And honestly, when I work with the nurses, they do an awesome job.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yes, I feel very supported by the nurses with that.
Thank you for recapping. I'm sure that's reassuring for parents so that they know that there's a partnership already, before, not just when the parent comes in, but you're met with the specialists so that they make sure to carry on that requirement at school as well.
Thank you so much, and on behalf of, I work with families at risk and different special populations, and I think this is just a wonderful opportunity so that our children do not go home hungry. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have Coach Claudia Juarez. She is the lead for the district, and she will have an overview of the physical fitness.
The fun part. Everybody loves speaking, I think. myself before she started trying to get this little Google slide that I created. My name is Claudia Juarez. I've been teaching this is my 27th year with the district. Taught PE for 24, and I am the lead PE teacher. I serve as a facilitator to the other coaches in case they have any questions. They come to me, and then if I can't solve it, then I go higher and try to get something working out. In PE, I want you to see my goals. It's too cute. It is elementary based. I taught elementary for 27 years. So. It's not. So I created this little Google slide, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about a program for physical education. And if you click on my little physical education, we'll open it up, and then we'll talk about. I need to ask this. It's not a touch screen.
You can probably talk about it in this class.
Okay, so PE is required at the elementary level for 135 minutes. So our kids attend PE 3 times a week for 45 minutes. Our goal is to make it fun, to teach them skills, to learn to be physical active. We want to make it part of their lifestyle. So elementary, we make it fun, where they all love to come to PE, so we want them to learn to love to be active. And so we provide that in all elementary schools. Go to PE 3 times a day for 45 minutes, 3 times a week for 45 minutes. At the secondary level, it's required by law to attend PE 225 minutes. It's for 6th and 7th grade. They do attend 5 days a week for 55 minutes, so it's a little more. It's a little over. It's 275. Which in those extra minutes, that's where they teach health. That's where they teach their curriculum. It's okay. You don't have to work it. Yeah, it's okay. So we do that. Also, by state, we are required to do the fitness program. All students from 3rd through 12th grade are required to do the fitness program. What does that entail? It's a muscular strength test, which is we use that for push-ups, a flexibility. We do, which is a shoulder stretch, and we do a trunk lift. Okay, that shows our flexibility. I don't know what's going on. And we do curl-ups. It's curl-ups, it's push-ups, it's sit-ups, and we do the mile or the pacer. That's aerobic capacity. So most of our elementaries do the pacer. Okay, so it's like back and forth a certain distance in the gym, and it's timed, and all those results go to state. Okay, we monitor that every year. At the end of the year, we did away with the program, but we were doing it every year, and we were not sending reports. We got it back, so at the end of the year, parents should receive a form with where they are. Okay, so most of the schools at the high school, they do at the beginning of the school year, they do the fitness ground test, and at the end, we do a post to see their growth and show their growth in PE. So let me show you a little bit right here. If we click on it. No, it's not working. But at the secondary level, at the high school, it is not required. I think there's only 1 credit that's required at the high school. Most of the kids get that credit through athletics. Okay, most of the kids get that credit for athletics, and some of including my kids, themselves, they take athletics every year, so they get more than what they need in athletics. Our goal of the district is to promote physical activity, and we do that through the I Love My Teacher 5K. And as coaches, we promote the city leagues. We tell them, hey, you need to go play basketball, you need to go play volleyball. I think they do baseball. We promote all that. We also participate in the high school host a track meet, elementary track meet, and a cross country meet, and we encourage our kids to attend those. So we try to encourage as much as physical activity as we can. This year, thanks to Mr. Jay Christens, he's from the Del Rio Parks Foundation, Calderon was granted 24 bikes with 24 helmets. And it's a program geared towards kindergartners, so they can learn how to bike. I feel like nowadays, nobody knows how to ride a bike. It's social media, you're on the games, you're playing, and so when Mr. Karsten brought that up to me, he was like, oh, do you know of any school that will be interested? And I'm like, hello? You're talking to the lead PE teacher, and I'm a Calderon, so I would love my little kinders to learn how to ride. Because I did, we have funding, and I try to incorporate, we have tricycles, and my kids now know how to ride. Not even a tricycle. So when you brought that up, and we were able to raise, thanks to Mr. Karsten and the community members and businesses, we were able to raise $9,000 for that program. So it includes 24 bikes, 24 helmets, 2 racks, and a teacher bike. So we have different units, and I wanted to show you, but it's not working. We have different units. We have a lifetime sports, and that's during that unit that I'm going to teach the kids how to ride. I have a curriculum. It tells you exactly what to do. I mean, I'm not a bike expert, right? I know how to ride, but thanks to that curriculum, I'll be able to teach them the proper way to learn how to ride a bike. 2 schools have already reached out. It's Garfield and Lonnie Green. They want to do the same program, so we're going to try to raise money. And eventually want every single elementary school to have that program. I think it's amazing for our kids. When we did the review, I wanted to show you pictures, but we can't. We did the review and the kids were so excited. We had 24 kids with their helmets, riding the bike. Obviously, it doesn't have pedals yet. You learn how to balance first. And they were excited. Like, and the next day, the bikes weren't there. We have put them away. And they're like, Coach, where are the bikes? And I'm like, we're going to have a unit on that unit, and we're going to teach all of you how to ride the bike. Because only 24 kids got to ride that when we did the review, and everybody else was like, what about me? Everybody will get a turn. All my kindergartners will learn how to ride a bike, and hopefully we'll start Garfield and Lonnie Green this year to start raising money, and then we'll eventually get the rest of the schools going. And fun peace. Come to my class whenever you want to. Does anybody have any questions?
I just have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I just feel like how important is physical activity for your intellectual development. Like sometimes I coaches there, you have to exercise, but then letting the kids know, like if you exercise, what happens to your brain? What happens when you go to learn? Like that's what really helps, and that's why you need to be active in life, you know?
Yes, and we encourage all, and we talk to the kids about that too. And in elementary, we don't have time for help, but we do, like those minutes that we have for free, we're like, okay, talk about hygiene, talk about, hey, if you need anything, sometimes our mental health, at home, our life is not, yes, everything, it's connected. And we talk to our kids whenever we can, because we like, and he is really keep them active the whole 45 minutes we have, but those minutes that we do have extra, we do talk to the kids about that, how important it is.
I have just a couple of things. First of all, the slides, we'll send them out to everybody so that everybody has the
so
opportunity
cute.
to see all of these wonderful things.
It's super cute.
So yes, and then also, I also want to remind our council that we are going to be involved in the Teacher 5K run. And so we'll discuss more of that at our next meeting in February. Because remember, we do want our parents and our children and our community and our staff members to be physically active and participate in as many community events as we can.
Thank you.
I have a question, and only because I am a parent to a student here at Garfield that is in life skills. So is the requirement different for the students that are in life skills as far as the PE? Like the minutes or the times per
Do they attend PE?
Well, my son does, so I don't know if his is different. So he was pulled from general education last year to life skills, and this year they're transitioning him back to general education,
Okay.
but he has been attending like adaptive PE, so that's why my question is, you know, what is it different for them? Do they attend it? I don't really know.
It's probably based on the amount.
Good question. Yes.
Yeah, probably.
That is a
based on
good
our-
question because
okay.
I'd like probably ask with their department.
Okay,
But if it's gonna be mainstream, then he'll be required to do the 45 minutes,
yes,
the 135 minutes, which is 3 days for 45 minutes,
Yes.
if he's being mainstream.
yes, okay. Alright, thank
And
you.
so the adaptive PE coach works very closely with the general ed
Yes.
coaches
Mhm.
to meet the needs that are documented for any IEP.
Mhm.
So that they work closely in any of the units that are
Yes.
presented and rolled
Mhm.
out.
Yes.
And that's Coach also.
Yes, he
Mhm.
works with my son, and so I get a progress report, so I was just wondering if the times were different, but yeah, it's probably based on his own plan.
IEP.
Yes, I do.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Up next, we have, Mrs. Jane Villarreal, Chief Academic Officer.
Hello, everyone. I get to talk about the forbidden word, right? But not in our schools. There's a curriculum, and I'm going to go over that specifically today. I was the principal at Dover Freshman prior to my new role as Chief Academic Officer, so I understand how it's rolled out through our TEKS. So I'm gonna kind of share, how we target or roll out the human sexuality instruction with our district, okay? Let me just bring up my presentation.
And while she's doing that, council members, it is in your packet. Okay, the information that we're discussing, it is also in your packet.
I don't know why it's taking so long. Please bear with me. It shouldn't take long. Okay, so again, I'm talking about how we have the human sexuality instruction for our district. That is something that is recommended for students 8 through 12. And for our district, we do it, we give the instruction during freshman year, okay? So the 87th legislature, and you have a copy of this, House Bill 1525 included updates to how we roll out instruction in regards to human sexuality. Of course, the highlights are here, but it does require for us to obtain written permission from parents prior to instructing any child in human sexuality instruction. So again, we should partner with our parents and in what is given as education to their children. So the statute also requires for schools to inform parents when the instruction will be provided. And so it talks about the schedule of the instruction, also your rights as parents to choose to give this opportunity to your students or not, right? And so traditionally what we would do is at freshman we would include this as part of our orientation, our parent orientation, so that parents understood at the beginning of the year, this is the year that we discuss human sexuality. And so permission slips are given out, the curriculum is given out at the parent orientation at the beginning of the school year. And so then you get to decide as parents whether you want your child to participate in this. You give the permission so that they can, or you deny it so that they don't, okay? And so the last part of this is saying, if you choose not to have your child, then we don't penalize your child, right? It can't be a grade, it can't be something that the teacher requires, so that the child is not subject to any kind of disciplinary action or any kind of penalty, okay? So I'll move on. What we use is the Big Decisions program. And so here's the curriculum outline. I have included, it is 10 lessons that make up the Big Decisions program. I have included there a sample of the curriculum along with a lesson. So I'm going to go through that really quick. So here are the 10 topics. The curriculum really surrounds itself with having a respectful relationship. developing respect, really being mindful of your future. Okay, so how does sex, right, sexuality affect me and my future? Okay, so those are the topics, those are the 10 lessons that we go through at freshman. And it's done through biology class, so it's worked into the TEKS, and I'll show you how it's aligned to the TEKS here in a little bit, okay? So we don't use academic vocabulary that is not appropriate, right? It has to be aligned to the TEKS directly, okay? So those are the 10 items, or the 10 topics that are discussed. So we have rules of the game, forming a respectful group. 2, goals and dreams, my future, right? What do I want for myself in my future? 3 is relationships and romance, what is healthy? Anatomy and reproduction, how it works. Abstinence, decisions to wait. A clear no, respecting and defining limits, or defending limits. And then sexually transmitted infections, including HIV and AIDS, contraception, pregnancy, and a good time for you. And then staying healthy and on track, my safety and my limits, and then my decision when you're ready for the challenges, or for challenges, not just with sexuality, but anything in life, right? Your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. So it breaks down the curriculum there by activity and objectives for those lessons. And I don't know that you were given a copy of this, but we can definitely include that so that you know what the topics are and what activities are and how it's broken down by minute. Okay, so we'll definitely make sure Ms. Adams shares that with them.
The link is included, since I did give you a copy of it, so the link was included in here.
Perfect. And so then,
The second page.
okay, so here's an example of an activity, and it tells the teachers how it's going to be laid out, right, for those minutes that it's allotted for. So here, this is activity 2.2. For 5 minutes, we're gonna talk about this, right? Tell the students such and such, okay? So there's facilitator notes there on how we want those conversations to go. Because you know, with certain topics, kids will go everywhere, right? So teachers have to be able to maintain the conversation to the focus where we're going with this, right? So then it then moves on how we make it a activity. What do we ask the class? And then what do we need to acknowledge? What is it, again, what's the focus for this? And then it's very much scripted for the teachers to follow. And then it gives you, keep this in mind. In particular, include this portion. And then there's also sections where teachers have to take questions that are anonymous, because sometimes kids don't want to ask, they want to know, but they don't want to say it in front of their friends or their peers. It's uncomfortable, but there's got to be a way to anonymously be able to ask those questions, right? Because we're learning in an appropriate setting, okay? So that's an example. The next link is really how we align our TEKS. I won't go too in depth with that, but how it works with the biology TEKS and how we are able to embed that instruction about human sexuality through our biology TEKS at freshman. So again, it tells you a little bit about the program itself and then how our TEKS are embedded. And this is a summary sheet from the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston. So you have that link as well, okay? The next slide shows our forms that go out to parents. and how we inform you of what we're going to discuss, and then the permission that's required for us to obtain before we even include kids in groups of instruction. So those go out, again, traditionally, they were presented at the orientation. However, this school year, it was a year that we needed to update everyone with the new curriculum, any updates. So I am not sure if this has gone out this year, but it will go out before any of that instruction occurs. So this year, all of our biology teachers had a 2-day training on September 23rd and 24th, and they received each a certificate of completion. So they have successfully completed the training that is required for us to present human sexuality instruction to students. Okay, so each of the teachers that are conducting instruction on human sexuality have a certificate on that, and that's a total of 6 teachers. Only 6 teachers in our district are certified to give that instruction. Okay. And that's it. That's all I have. Any questions in regards to human sexuality instruction at SFDR? How was that informative?
That was excellent. I do have one question. That was excellent. Thank you so much. So this is done at freshmen?
At Dilworth Freshman. Now, if students are taking biology at blended, they also get that instruction through there. And then early college freshman students that are taking biology also get that instruction. So anyone doing, getting biology credit.
And then the class is co-ed, I was just curious.
It's boys and girls mixed in, talking about human sexuality. So you can just imagine the control that these teachers have to have. I'm sure there's a lot of giggles and a lot of, that's why it's important for parents to understand what's going to be discussed. And then the opportunity to say, yeah, I think my child is ready for this, or no, I'd rather do it myself and have control over what's presented to them. So, you had another question?
Actually, you clarified that. It was an opt-in, where the, parent has the choice to opt in to the curriculum, or
It's
not.
no longer opt-in.
I'm sorry.
It
So
is
clarify it.
now, right, before it used to be you opt in, so you
Right.
have that choice. Now it's we have to, every
Provide,
single
because it's
one
Part of
has
the
to
piece.
get.
So they opt out?
So yes, so they have to opt out because everyone has to have that opportunity, and the parent can say, no, I'd rather do it on my own, or yes, I want them to learn it through biology, so that, they have that choice.
So these teachers that are doing these certification, are outstanding. How long does it take, like these 10 lessons? Is it like in 6 weeks, or is it a semester? Or?
So because they see them every other day, it's about a month. It's embedded in the curriculum at the time that they're hitting those particular TEKs. So it's within that 6 weeks period.
Is there any specific, why do they start this information till 9th grade and not a little bit
Not earlier.
earlier? Because the kids here are studying genius, like my son is 10 years old and I'm seeing him like genius already, and I have to talk to him like, little things that might happen, and I don't know if the district, why do they have to wait till 9th grade?
The recommendation is as early as 8th grade through 12th grade. We do it as a district with biology because it just works perfect with the type of instruction they're getting, and the type of TEKs that are being rolled out, so it just works perfect. That's why our district does it that way. Now, you can do it as early as 7th grade, but it depends on, if the child is ready to receive that information, right? So that's why it's recommended at freshman for our district, but the state says anywhere between 8th and 12th grade. Now, there is an early curriculum, starting as early as, I wanna say 3rd through 5th, but again,
Wow.
are they ready to, how it's, how in depth is it gonna be?
I'm curious if there's a way to incorporate the program to teach the things that they're going through at that stage. Their body's starting to change at 3rd grade, for some girls and
Hygiene.
yes,
Something like that.
yeah, those types of things.
And they do offer that, that is
Through the health,
something to
through the health teams.
do the help.
Yes.
Okay.
And what I can provide you is, she's shared the importance of, at this particular stage and age, is this curriculum. It's the big decisions curriculum at that particular stage and age. However, she mentioned the TEKS, right? She mentioned the alignment with the essential knowledge and skills. The knowledge and skills are taught as early as kindergarten, right? And so we see those TEKS they're tied to the new health TEKS, right? And we will provide you with a copy of it. I'll share that in the link as well, so that you all have access to it and what is required to be taught at different developmental levels.
Right. It has to be age appropriate.
Right.
Developmentally appropriate, but I know there is a program, it's designed for 3rd through 5th graders, but again, I don't know that.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in
That's an
presentation.
option.
And I
So-
guess it could be like that too, where the kid there's a permission slip, the parents decide, is my daughter or son ready for this kind of talk?
Anytime, human sexuality instruction is included in the district, we must send out parent permission,
Yeah.
obtain it first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Last on our agenda, we have Mrs. Sandra Hernandez, Chief Administrative Officer for the district.
Oh, last but not least. Okay, well, thank you parents and thank you everyone for coming to our SHAC meeting today. What was covered today is really what you see in our plan. So basically, all of the components of our presentations today cover each of the sections of the part of the plan that's required for our school district. It is a living, working document. It is a document that needs always to be constantly in review and constantly updated, depending on what the SHAC committee is. We have, dependent on the requirements of policy and dependent also on what this community is saying that we need to pay attention to and to guide us in that instruction for students, for school health. Okay, so my section, without further ado, I'm gonna talk a little bit about fentanyl awareness. In October, well, actually in 2020, the governor proclaimed October as Fentanyl Poisoning Awareness Month. You have a copy of the flyer. And then we'll talk a little bit about the health TEKS, because the health TEKS encompasses a lot of different subject matter. And we're going to talk about the drug awareness. So before, if you guys remember, we would, in Texas, really celebrate or really point out or dedicate some time to Red Ribbon Week, right? And so we would use the Red Ribbon Week as the awareness, the drug awareness week. So it's more than that. And so as time has evolved, what we have noticed is in the state of Texas that there's more an awareness of the different types of drugs and the prevalence of drug-related incidences statewide, particularly in children and adolescents, and in also young adults, right? So fentanyl, in 2020, the governor really heightened the alert because there's been a rise of this one particular pill that, as a one dosage could kill an individual. So it's that serious. And so we want to be able to heighten the awareness for our students that if they're consuming the substance abuse or the substance, it has a potentially to be lethal, and that's that particularly serious. So every month, we've changed the focus on just Red Ribbon Week into Substance Abuse. October is Fentanyl Poisoning Awareness Month, to bring the awareness of dangers of fentanyl and also potential overdoses of substances. Okay, so we see that you can see on this one particular flyer, what we're going to do as a district, we're going to issue out a media campaign. The media campaign encompasses flyers, small little bits of information that you'll see posted on social media. We're also going to include some Del Rio Cares lessons. Now, what's Del Rio Cares lessons? Those are lessons that our district has put together to help enhance mental health, to enhance the awareness for kids in a lot of the areas such as social, emotional impact on students. So we've created our own curriculum, and that curriculum is Del Rio Cares, which are several different topics, okay? We do this through counseling, we do this through some of our teachers, and last week we did the campaign on Childhood Cancer Awareness Week. This week, actually beginning next week, we're going to start the campaign on the substance abuse. So we want to be able to bring that to your attention. This next piece that you see here is an example of the newest updated TEKS that was just released by the Texas Education Agency. The health TEKS has been updated and is to align to fentanyl abuse prevention and drug poisoning awareness. And you'll see here that it's been divided into sections beginning from kindergarten to grade 3. This is an example of how the TEKS will present itself in age-appropriate, developmentally appropriate language. And there's some things that are shared with them, and it'll just gradually increase in the complexity of how substance abuse is presented to children. So you'll see at the very first part, I'm just going to kind of guide you. Up at the very top, you'll see just an overview of kinder through third, the very first part. And it says the standards are really going to cover alcohol, tobacco, and other drug strands, focus on a number of protective factors that develop empowered students who are able to make better informed decisions, including understanding the impact of substance abuse on physical, mental, and social health. How does it affect us as people if we or take a substance, or take a drug? The impact, also through misuse, it's an unhealthy choice, and it can hurt your body. And you can see the language will start to change. You'll see the next sections will start explaining what the TEKS for kindergarten, the next one grade 1, and then grade 3 on the next page, grade 2 and then 3. If you look at page 3, you'll see the next group, which is grades 4 through 8. How is that introduced? So you'll see the understanding, they gain an understanding of information and skills through 6 strands: physical health and hygiene, mental health and wellness, and then again, it'll expand on it depending on, the complexity of what should be shared for that particular age group, okay? And then you'll see as you keep moving on all the way through high school. So this is a great tool for parents so that they'll see what should be incorporated in our health lessons, right? And so when we spoke about a little earlier about sexual health, it follows the same format. You'll see that there are certain areas that are discussed depending on the complexity of the subject. that is it. I just wanted to be able to share with you that October is our Drug Awareness Month, focusing on fentanyl awareness. The school district is going to be issuing out a media campaign and a letter to parents explaining to them also their support to be able to help us to bring awareness to their children and what they, at home, and to, you know, help them understand that, you know, even this one particular new drug that's been out, has had a heightened prevalence in Texas, but it's also a very deadly one. Okay? All right, bringing it back full circle, back to this one, to the very first set of documents that were provided to you on the wellness plan. As my job is making sure that our district is aligned with district policy and also state and federal policy. So the legal part on the background, behind the scenes, making sure that we are in compliance. So one of the things that we need to do, as I mentioned to you before, we have to look at our plan, review our plan as a committee, and you're going to see, are we addressing these things? You're going to actually review them by their category. So you heard earlier, you have the physical health, the actual food and nutrition. All of these are requirements under the scope of the policy, a scope of law, right? The other part that is required is that we're required to retain records. And so that's where I come in. So I will be creating Google, now we're moving up, a drive so that you have all of these documents, and parents can, once we go in, we actually have a web page already set up so that you have our meeting is recorded, it will be downloaded, it will be uploaded on the web page, and then so any parent who is not physically here today can actually access it and access the meetings and listen to the meetings and the presentations that were offered here today. They will also be able to access the resources that we shared with you today, right, through the links. So the Google Drive is because we can only share so much on the web page, right? It may get too big because of the files. We want to be able to have a drive so that all the resources and information is in there, easily accessible for our parents and our participants that are here today. Okay? And that's it for my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering, for October, are you guys also gonna bring up vaping as part of
Yes.
the drug awareness?
Right, so all of this, the drug awareness will encompass, you know, your cigarettes, your vaping, the drug use, medication, because, you know, even children who take medication, some of it's prescribed, even if it's not prescribed over the counter, all of it has to do with the relationship with their health. What is healthy and what is unhealthy. And that's the whole scope of the conversation that we want to have with kids, is for them to understand that when they're consuming something and they're abusing something, there's a harm that comes to their bodies, sometimes short term, but sometimes long term, right? And so it's creating an awareness for them, as well as to expand the awareness to their families, to their children, to their parents, right? So that the parents who are partners in educating our kids should be able to have that same resource of information to help those conversations with the kids. That's a great question. So yeah, we're hoping, and we have all of the lessons through Del Rio Cares. We have I would like to update in that site. It's just maybe a calendar of events of what's being presented, so the parents have an idea. Okay, during this month, here are the lessons that we're going to cover that will encompass the drug awareness. Great point. Any other questions? Well, awesome. Thank you so much for your participation today.
well, this will conclude our meeting. Our next SHAC meeting will be February 13th via Zoom, from 12 to 1, and Ms. Adams will send us the link as it gets closer. Our meeting is adjourned, it's 1:01.